businesses are taxed on their profits, not revenue. For example, this right here is our 1099-K form. This lets the IRS know exactly how much revenue we made last year. However, this is not the amount of money we're expected to pay our taxes on. Instead, we're only on the hook to pay however much we made in net profit, which after all of our expenses and deductions was just over $1,300. That's quite a big difference compared to our revenue amount, or in other words, gross sales. So just like we did, how can you easily calculate the amount that your business owes in taxes? Let me show you the two forms you'll need from your Amazon account and the one that you need to get outside of Amazon. Now, I'm not a tax professional or giving you any legal advice, but everything in this video does come from my own personal experience, and also an embarrassing amount of hours researching the most up-to-date information for you guys. Which, by the way, there's some new laws that just went into effect, so if you watched any other videos before this date here, you want to stick around because there's a ton of new information you need to know about. So now let's talk about the first form that you can download in your Seller Central account. This is your 1099-K form. To find it, head over to Seller Central and hover over Reports, and then click on Tax Document Library. At the top, you'll see all of your previous forms here, including this year's. Now, it's important to know that Amazon has up until January 31st each year to provide this form to you. So, if you're not seeing yours here, you're either just too early or you didn't qualify for it. To get this form, you first need to reach $20,000 in total sales and have 200 individual transactions. However, these requirements have just changed. After the year 2023, you'll only need to reach $600 in total sales with no transaction threshold, meaning going forward, way more sellers will be eligible to receive this form. Now, let's say you still don't qualify. That doesn't mean you're exempt from reporting your income. It just means that you have to use a different report, and I'm actually gonna show that report up here next, so if you didn't qualify, feel free to skip to the next section using the timestamps down below. Now, for those who are qualified, when you open up the form, go ahead and scroll down to the second page. This is where you'll see a monthly breakdown of how Amazon is calculating your yearly revenue. So really all they're doing here is simply adding together your product sales, shipping credits, and gift wrap credits. But in our case, we don't have any. So from that amount, they're now subtracting your promotional rebates, which actually comes from any coupons or discounts you ran last year. Then they add back in your sales tax and then something called PYOP, which most people don't have. But let's come back to sales tax real quick. Now, in an effort to make this as simple as possible, here's the most important thing you need to know about sales tax. Amazon legally has to calculate, collect, and pay your taxes for you on all sales shipped to customers located in states that have something called Marketplace Facilitator laws. And as of right now, that's every single state with the exception of one, Missouri. However, the good news is starting next tax season, Missouri will be joining the rest of the country in collecting your sales tax. But until then, if you're doing your 2022 taxes, you might still have to pay Missouri sales tax if you have something called Nexus. Now, because this doesn't apply to everyone, I'm not going to get too technical here. So if you want to learn more about Nexus, check out the article we put down in the video description. Also, when filing your taxes, you want to head back over to Amazon and download your yearly sales tax report. And there are 3 different reports you can download here. The first one tells you how much tax you're responsible for paying. The second one tells you how much Amazon is responsible for paying on your behalf. And this last one here is just a combination of both reports. So if you're working with an accountant to file your taxes, which I'd strongly recommend doing, just make sure to ask them which of these forms they prefer. Okay, so going back to the 1099-K form, it's important to know that Amazon is actually adding your sales tax to your gross sales amount. So why do they do this? Well, when customers purchase your product on Amazon, they technically are paying you the price of your product plus sales tax, which means that the sales tax money goes into your account as a credit. However, Amazon will then debit you, which means they remove the tax money from your account and pay it to the appropriate states. Now, don't worry, just like all of your other business expenses, what you already paid in sales tax will be deducted from the overall amount that you owe. And speaking of, remember, your business will not be taxed on the revenue listed here, and instead, you'll only be taxed on whatever you made in net profit. And this is important because this form doesn't factor in things like Amazon fees, cost of goods, operating expenses, or really any other business-related deductions. So to avoid overpaying on your taxes, it's critical you download this next report, which is your year-end sales report. To find it, head over to Reports and then click on Payments. Go to the date range reports and then click generate report. Now from here, you can either download a transaction report, which is a CSV file, or you can download a summary report, which comes in a much cleaner PDF file. Now just make sure you select a custom date range for the entire calendar year that you're reporting on and click generate. Once opened, this report will give you a one-page summary of all your Amazon sales, fees, sales tax, and bank transfers, which is the actual amount that was deposited into your bank account. However, it's important to understand that this number here is still not your net profit. While this report is accounting for your Amazon expenses, it doesn't account for your off Amazon expenses, such as cost of goods sold and operating expenses. So how can you round up all of these expenses to help you calculate your true net profit? The best way is to create a year-end expense report. Now, there are many different ways to track your expenses. You can use an Excel spreadsheet and do it all manually, or you can use a tool like Jungle Scout to automatically organize and track all of your on and off Amazon expenses. But however you do it, just make sure to accurately keep track of your unit cost, supplier shipping, and the cost of shipping your products into Amazon FBA warehouses. These are the big ones. But you may also have some smaller miscellaneous costs for things like product labeling, for example. And then besides your Amazon fees listed below, I'm sure a lot of you probably have other off Amazon expenses. So just make sure you're accurately keeping track of everything, such as any off Amazon advertising spend you've done, any software subscriptions you have, education training, travel expenses, and any other business costs that are tax deductible. So now, after recording all of your off Amazon expenses, now is when you can finally refer to your profit and loss statement to see your true net profit. This should be a full breakdown of where everything comes from, including your revenue, cost of goods sold, operating expenses, and your net profit, which is the total amount that you can expect to be taxed on. Now, while you don't need to use a tool like this, come tax time, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Also, if you want to grow your profit each year, it's important to understand how your entire business is performing on a day-to-day basis. So while it's helpful to look at your company level data, make sure you're also tracking your metrics at the individual product level. That way, each day, week, or even month, you can quickly see how all aspects of your business are performing, and specifically, tracking your units sold, net margin, and ROI for any selected time frame. You want to uncover all the little details that make up your net profit, revenue, cost, units sold, and PPC cost. For example, clicking any of these tabs here will give you a full breakdown, as well as a graph that helps you visualize the changes over time. So I put a link down in the description, as well as in the pinned comment below, where you can learn more about how Jungle Scout can help you get organized, save money, and increase your profits. Or if you just want to stay here on YouTube, check out this next video to watch a full tutorial of sales analytics, which should hopefully give you a better idea of whether or not this tool is right for you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Was that? Okay, yeah, that was high enough, okay. And the one that you, okay. Go back and do this line one more time.